Hey, Blue Table fans! The relatively unenthusiastic shockwave of happiness. But see, I wasn't even expecting to do that. That's awesome. I am full of joy and gladness right now. It is fantastic. Year 2013, year of the harvest. That's what I'm declaring it. All that effort's going to pay off. So here's your business ramble. And you know, it's going to kind of have a little bit of a twist of a PSA there. So first off, want to talk about some of the nuts and bolts aspects. Blue Table Paint, some people that watch this channel for all the other goodness that's on it, don't know exactly what it is we do. So here it is. Blue Table Painting was founded in January of 2004. We just hit our 9-year mark. 9! Secure and reliable. We've done over 6,000 projects. That's a mind-numbing amount of miniatures that have been painted. And we have pioneered this industry, dare I say it. And so here's how it works. You contact us. You say, I might like to get some miniatures painted. And you don't have to give a lot of details, because we'll get back to you and say, okay, here are the details that we need. And then you can decide how you want to proceed from there. And I just want to say two things. One, the, I guess, traditional method is you say, this is what I might like to get done. We get back with a quote and some details, and then you respond and decide whether you want to go forward or not. Now, obviously, there's permutations there. Which is, you could say, you know what, my budget's a little bit higher than what you've quoted, so why don't we do some extras? And the reverse, which is, my budget's a little lower than what you've quoted, what can you do to pare that down? I've designed a system that is extremely flexible. My job is to get you on the table with a painted army, whatever that may be. And sometimes you got to even go back further than the game you want to play. So for budget, your best bet is really Infinity. Infinity is, I think, the easiest game to get into in terms of investment. And investment, as I've said before, investment isn't just the cost of the models, but it's the cost of painting and assembly if you have it professionally done. Or you have a different cost. You have a time cost and a materials cost, which is you have to take time to train yourself to assemble and paint. You have to buy materials to assemble and paint. And then you actually have to do the assembling and painting. So when you add all of those up, you have to do a cost-benefit ratio to just say, you know what, here you go. BTP, here's my magic list. We have clients that just send us an army list. Make this army for me. Ba-da! Some weeks later, it is just done. And that is like, it's so convenient, it's so nice. And so anyway, so it goes, this is what I might like to have done. We give a quote / proposal, and then we proceed from there. So, but there's a better way to do this, which is start with budget. And then with budget and desired result. I have this amount of money, this is what I'm trying to get out of this. And so this is a plea for more information. So if I get an email saying, hey, how about a 40K Grey Knights army? Give me some information. I don't know how to start with that, because the range of possibilities is so great that it would help if you said, for example, I'm just now getting into 40K, my budget is X, and I think Grey Knights look pretty good, but I'm also considering these other armies. Now that's helpful. I can give you some suggestions, because maybe one of those other armies is one that we have just traded in, and you know, I can tailor better if you give me the right information. So that's PSA number 1, right? It's a Saturday. I've photographed the stuff I want to, and here I am talking. Okay, next up is Valhalla, and so we've announced Valhalla, and just a rundown is Valhalla is a very small scale, very private event, and we typically, not always, but typically get out industry names. For example, to our October Valhalla, we have lined up Mini Wargaming and Worthy Painting from UK, and there were I think there were 3 other companies they wanted to bring. We have met some people in our journeys, and we plan on inviting them out. Don't tell anybody, but we are very likely to be approaching Infinity, the Infinity guys, and Mercs as well, see if we can get them out. And that is that's the ultimate experience. Meet the creator of a game. And so Valhalla, you come out, all you have to do is get here, the ticket takes care of the rest. We don't guarantee transport from airport to the location, but we do make a couple of runs on the day of arrival and the day of departure, which historically has been enough to get everybody up there. So we're trying to make it so it's a different kind of experience than a typical convention, which has its strengths. Not knocking the typical convention, but you arrive and you get off the plane and it's like, okay, well, where do I go? You got to go to the rental car place. You got to, wouldn't it be nicer? It occurred to me, wouldn't it be nicer if you had someone there, that pulls up, hi, I'm ready, and then they just take you where you need to go, and then after that, there's nothing to worry about. So Valhalla is food, wargaming, and good company, and awesome surroundings. So really, really a bit of an afterlife. If you go on our YouTube, you already are on our YouTube channel. You've already seen tons of these. You can type in Valhalla and see all the things that we've done and what it's all about. And I just okay, great. I'm going to go into this now because I have all the time that I want, right? You're just going to listen to this while you're painting or doing whatever else it is that you're doing. And okay, Valhalla is more than just the wargaming aspect, ultimate wargaming. What is the best way that could be, brought into reality? It has to do with community and the betterment of the human soul. And so Valhalla right now, we are doing it at Sundance, which is a fantastic place to be. And we've been hunting for the best locations that we can find. And you would not believe the amount of groundwork that goes into just setting up a season for this. This year we have 3 announced. Oh, and you can get a private one too. You pay a flat amount. Your 16 people can come out. So basically you get 16 tickets, and you just bring everybody out. We put on the whole thing for you. That's awesome. And by the way, and it's a great deal too. And we can do a 4-day one or a 6-day one. So, and this year we've gone from 4 days to 6 days, so it's time and a half. And I think that's going to make a huge difference. 6 days, you can just really get into your groove. All the stress and worry just starts leaching out. So when I say betterment of human soul, I'm talking about the natural process of what it is that we're doing. That you get away, you get better environment, you get to kind of get a fresh perspective on things. And little groups of people are up late talking about life and war games, and we talk business, and it's just so fantastic. It's a great concept. We're executing it extremely well. So what we've run into in terms of the location is that we need it to be like 20 to 30 people. Seems like a good size for it. And we may do a separate incarnation that gets to be a huge thing, with 300, 600, 2,000 people. I'm not sure. I'm still kind of vacillating back and forth of what it is. But of course, you could keep the traditional one, which is very small and intimate, and then still do this other thing. And so, but the problem is, for these locations, people build houses and they have them as rentals. That's what blows me away is there's these communities out there, they're all over, and these extremely wealthy people, they have like whole mansions that just sit there. Nobody's in them, no families being raised there, they're just mothballed all year. And some of them are available to rent, but then they're only like half used. And it just seems like not a good use of resources to me. So, okay, great. So now we're into the business ramble part where you can kind of start sparking your own ideas and hopefully understand mine better. It's not just me. More people are going to be involved with this, if indeed it's worthy of attention on that great of a scale. So anyway, you got people, they build these houses, but they only build a house so big. And then after that, there's like a gap. And then it's like, then you're back into commercial area, you're into condos, you're into resorts, and it doesn't have that private feel. And I'm looking for that perfect thing, and I'm like, you know what, we need a place. It keeps coming back to it, we're gonna have to build the place that it's gonna be. And that I've dubbed it Mountain Valhalla version 1.0. And it's in some amazing landscape, trees and water features. If I could get both, I get a lake and a river. It has to be elevated. It has to have a grand central hall that you could have something amazing in it in terms of the miniatures. The terrain is what I'm saying. Giant double doors, you can have Valkyries with halberds flanking it. And there's like traditions that go with it, the Wall of Heroes, and and our own place. So I don't got to haul this stuff up and down. It's just stored. It is its own place. That's what it is, but it serves the community because when we're not doing the Wargamers Valhalla type events, it's repurposed for other types of uses. And so what I'm talking about here is stewardship. And that gets into, we find when we're doing our scouting, we find these places that are just like, oh my, this is amazing. And it's just, you look at the schedule for it and it's just abandoned half of the year. And I'm like, no, not good use of resources. This could be bringing joy and goodness to the world. It could be leaching the stress and worry out of somebody's soul. And so Mountain Valhalla 1.0, like how I'm flying around on different tangents, Mountain Valhalla 1.0 has the setting, trees, lake and river, both preferably. It's elevated. It has the Great Hall, and it has an occupancy. And right now, I'm not really sure what that needs to be. 30 sounds good. That's probably the lowest, and maybe 50. But after it gets to a certain point, after it gets above 50, then yeah, really you need to be at a resort type location for a larger thing than that. And you're talking, that's like a small wedding. I mean, that is not, that's not Woodstock where crowds are coming out and trammeling the grass. So there's a building, possibly two buildings, and when you go there, it feels like the afterlife. So so food and that escapism, where there's these surroundings that are like, oh my gosh, this is so neat. Weapons on the wall. I know that sounds gaudy, but yeah, that sounds good to me. So anyway, that's Mountain Valhalla version 1.0. And right now, I know if I could just find it, there is a place out there that fits this description that could be repurposed to what it is that we want to do, and it could be a thing. And Mountain Valhalla 2.0 is farther out, and hold on, if I may, that is inspired by Rivendell. So when you see that in the movie, something that awesome. Maybe not exactly that, because I think multiple rivers going through at a place where you're building something on a cliff, that might be a tad problematic. But, bridges with no rails. So, but something of equal grandeur, and that's a thing. And you think, Sean, aren't you being a little presumptuous? Who are you to do that? Well, who's to stop me? And I get to decide what goes on in my own mind. I can want whatever I want. I can visualize it inside my own head. And I think that's great. It makes me feel awesome when I'm imagining stuff like that. And, it's, so far I found that happens. If you start dreaming about things and thinking them over, it will tend to happen. For example, I consider my journey starting, obviously, at birth, but I think of it as starting at age 9. At age 9, my dad comes in, he says, we're moving to Alaska. My mom doesn't like it, but, she's stand by her man, so they sell the house in small town Oregon, and they head up to Alaska with a dredge and start hand dredging for gold in the outback of Alaska, 112 miles from the nearest civilization, just south of the Arctic Circle. So I'm in the back of this truck. It's the back of a truck that's been cut off and turned into a trailer, so it has a canopy on it. That was my bedroom. No electricity, no running water, just mosquito repellent and a sleeping bag. And so there's the beginning. That's where it starts. And that's when I became a reader. And I taught myself reading, and in the subsequent years, reading and math and imagination. I started drawing floor plans of castles for my D&D games. And so all of those things kind of naturally came forth. And then starting Blue Table Painting, I started in my garage. I had my paint kit. I went out, when I remember going to the craft store and saying, well, I'm going to do it professionally, so I better pick up, X hundreds of dollars of just materials. And that's what I had. I had a $2 garage sale table, all beat up, and that's what I started. And so you may not think that you have resources. You might think, oh my gosh, how am I going to get a bank loan? Or I have relatives, who's going to help me? Well, that's all great, except the bank loan, that's not so great. But you know what you do have? You have these. You have hands, and you have time, and you have your brain. That's an amazingly huge asset. I'm convinced that I could take a toilet brush and build an empire at this point. Because this is the asset you have. Monkey want a banana. Monkey gonna find a way to get the banana. And the universe will obey. The universe will obey. I believe in the divine heritage of mankind, humankind. But if you prefer not, time and mutation can be your God. Millions of years have given you one of those two things. Pick one or another one, I don't care. But you have a birthright on this world to get what you set your mind to. If you can conceive it and believe it, you can achieve it. It can all happen. And I remember it was 5 years ago, on a whiteboard in my office, I was like, okay, call me crazy, but someday Blue Table Painting is going to have like 30 people working there. And there's going to be 3 people at the front desk. It's going to take 3 people just to manage the front desk. I know it's out there. And guess what? All that happened. And then we moved from the Badger Hole. Well, there's offices before that, but the Badger Hole, which where I started recording. You guys remember that? And 2008. So the Badger Hole, I found a bigger place. Sold some armies, got some paints, got some carpet in there, fixed the place up, went to a corporate auction, because when you send the signal out, all that stuff will come to you. You will find a way. You'll be surprised. People and resources and ideas come crawling out of the woodwork. I woke up this morning and my subconscious was like, motorcycle helmets. I don't know why, but somehow motorcycle helmets and what we're doing are going to fit together. I don't know. Maybe it's nothing. So anyway, so we moved there. Then one day my landlord comes in and he says, Sean, I'm upping the rent by $50 a month. And that's not that big of a leap. But I was like, you know what? Just so you know, I'm going to go and hunt around and find out, what are the going rates. And, I may very well find that I'm just lucky to be here. And because, it's a small community, I didn't want to ruffle any feathers. So, I just made known what it is I was going to do. And that's it. I was like, I'll see you guys in a couple hours. I put on my coat and I headed out. I headed out down the street. And I just looked at everything. I went in and I was like, hello, do you know any commercial spaces for rent around here? Oh yeah, there's one upstairs. Oh, can I get the landlord's number? Da 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 da. And I just started beating the street and making my notes. Da 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 da. And drawing, and kind of estimating square footage and whatnot. And that's when I found the place that we're in now. And it was a complete hole. It was terrible. I can't even describe to you how bad it was. It was like Amityville Horror, literally rusted chains hanging off of the ceiling in some places. The carpet, black and greasy from decades of neglect. And it was foul. There's one window with like 40 flies on it. It was a real horror show. But high vision, help from neighbors and friends and associates and people that just came out of nowhere, really blessed this place. And not just me, but the community. Because I found out, because the mayor came over. Here's a great story. So I'm volunteering time down at the meatpacking plant. And that's a charity. So I'm talking to the guy on the line. We're packing up hot dogs or whatever. And I'm telling him what I do, and I'm like, you know what? The mayor should come and shake my hand for what we've done at this place. He's like, well, that could probably be arranged because I'm married to the mayor's daughter. So some days later, I get a call saying, hey, can we come and see, what you've done? And so the mayor comes in, and somewhere, I don't think it was on that visit, but I found out that they were actually looking at this old building as kind of an eyesore and thinking, well, what would it be like if we just razed it to the ground and paved it over? So we came in, and I don't take all the credit, but we came in and we really did a number on this place and made it beautiful. We're still working on it. That's another plug for Blue Table Painting. I've lived in the same house for going on 9 years. My name is on the deed of this location. I'm not going anywhere. It's security, and it's reliability, and it's community. This is something bigger. Blue Table Painting is something bigger than what it is right now. It's just a seed. It's a seed that's cracking open, and a little shoot of green is coming up out of that seed right now. And this is only the beginning. A mighty oak will rise up from this place. That's how it's going to happen. Oh, and by the way, try that sometime. Say to the universe in a bold statement how it is going to be. This is what's going to happen. That is your birthright. Your birthright is to take hold of what it is that you want. Start mentally and then move on out. Okay, so anyway, Blue Table Painting, you got the Valhalla 1.0, 2.0, that's the mountain one. And then I've got thoughts percolating for 3 more, but I just want to be clear. I'm not that this is necessarily bad, but I'm not after personal consumption. I'm after awesomeness. I want it to be awesome. When I'm fantasizing about these things, there's guests over. So Valhalla, to me, is really the culmination of, it's a representation of what it is I truly desire. I love having people over. And that was always true. In grade school, I was the dungeon master. I brought these disparate people together to play this game. And it manifested when I owned my game shop in Oregon. It was the same way, bringing people together. Really, really, really neat. Neat stuff. All right, well, I do believe this ramble is at a close. I got a little more enthusiastic than I thought I was going to. And yeah, sometimes I surprise even myself. So hold on, just make sure I didn't forget anything. Okay, so when you ask for a quote, give me some information. Give me something to work with, because I can tell you whatever it is. My job is to take whatever your resources and desires are, and is to figure out the best kind of proposal that I can. And I don't want you to be stymied. I want you to get your painted figures. I want you to get the best deal that you can. I want you to end up with the best situation. And that's what I built this for. It's meant to bring that together for you. And yeah, Valhalla. Oh, Valhalla's up now. So that's a thing. Contact us. I'm working on getting the tickets up on the web store, so you can just buy them off of that. And yeah, come on out. This year's going to be a really great year. It's going to be a big deal. It's going to be awesome. Just amazing. All right, onward and upwards.